I've been mining cryptocurrency for over 8 years now, and this is the most innovative piece of hardware I have ever seen. I mean, let's cut right to the chase here. This is a baseboard heater that mines Bitcoin. Nobody's, to my knowledge, built one like this, and definitely nobody has engineered one that is so well thought out from a hardware and a software and feature set perspective. I just haven't seen one, and I'm pretty deep into the space. And so if you need a baseboard heater, you should buy this. You should just buy this if you need a baseboard heater. You're going to generate Bitcoin along with the heat that you need. If you need a Bitcoin miner, well, maybe not, but baseboard heater for sure. But listen, please stay around for the rest of this video because I'm going to show you why I'm so impressed with this. We're going to go through its design and just hardware features, and then we're going to go through how the software just makes this an even better piece of hardware and just how well thought out it is. There's no doubt to me that the company Canaan behind this, their North Star was baseboard heater and Bitcoin miner, because nothing is an oversight. I think it's just so well thought out of a machine. I can't remember the last time I was smiling reading an instruction book about a piece of mining hardware. I can't remember that. I don't know if I ever did. And I was smiling at everything that I uncovered as I was setting this up and using it. It's just an absolute pleasure. So we're gonna take a look at the app because that I think unlocks a lot of the features of this as a baseboard heater and mining machine. And we'll do like the classic things like take a look at hash rates and power usage and profitability and all of that. But I very much would challenge you, as I've been challenged, to think about this first as a baseboard heater and then secondly, a Bitcoin cryptocurrency miner, because I think it makes you look at it very differently as you consider it in an appliance that can make you Bitcoin. So what we should do first is give a big thank you over to Jingle Mining because they sent this Canaan Avalon Mini 3 over to me to test and get to know and make this video for all of you. So thank you to Jingle Mining for your continued support of this channel. If you guys do want to buy one of these after watching this video and doing your own research, you can use my link. It's going to be in the description and the pinned comment. But again, please always do your own research. Watch multiple videos, read things, do the math yourself. Don't just trust the guy on the internet. But here we go. We're going to dive into this. So Canaan is the ASIC manufacturer that has designed this from the ground up as a baseboard heater and Bitcoin miner. And this is, again, the Avalon Mini 3, a household baseboard heater that can generate Bitcoin with a heating power of 800 watts and a silent fan design, which it is. I haven't heard it at all. It only takes 10 minutes to make your home as warm as spring. I don't know where they got that data from, but this will provide computing power for hash rate, 37.5 terahash, and as it mines Bitcoin, and this unit right here has performed better than even that. We're gonna go into those numbers in just a little bit, but what we should do first is just take a look at the actual hardware design. And then what I want to do is go into the app and we'll take a look at how the software really unlocks a lot of capabilities for this baseboard heater Bitcoin miner, the Avalon Mini 3. So I'm going to do some B-roll here because I tried to pick this up and show it to the camera during a take, and I learned that one of the features it has is fall detection. So if it tips over, it will actually shut off because that's not safe to run a baseboard heater that is tipped over in your house. Could be damaging to you, your family, and your house. So first thing it has in, feature set wise, is a fall detection. So I know that, and now you know that. We're gonna start from the bottom of the unit and work our way up. And so I can actually show you this one because it comes off the bottom. So the air intake is right here on the bottom, and then it exhausts out the front. So this is where all the heat is coming out. But because it has that intake and is sitting on the floor, what they've included is a removable filter, which is right here. It's magnetically attached. And when we get into the app in a little bit, I'll show you that it also will tell you when the filter is dirty and it's time to clean it, because it can detect how much airflow it's getting through the unit. So really cool little feature there. Additionally, on the bottom, we have the power inlet here, and it has a locking lever just in case that power cord gets accidentally tripped on. You don't want that coming out. Again, like small thing, but like I haven't seen any ASIC miners to my knowledge that have that. It also has a USB port down here that is used for internet connection. They include a dongle, a little USB adapter, so that you can plug in and get on Wi-Fi. They do support Ethernet if you do have an adapter that goes USB to Ethernet. On the sides, it has a male and female connection. And what this does is so you can link multiple of these units together. And they even have right angle adapters if you got to go around corners. So you could really, I guess, run multiple of these things within a room, down the wall, around and between corners and all of that. And it will know that they're linked together. Again, like really small thing. Like I never would have thought it would have that. But again, like they just seemingly have thought of everything. Okay, from there, on the top of the unit, it has an LED display which can display the time, or it can scroll through and display your IP address, the hash rates, and then it has some buttons to control what the display is currently showing. Is I think really where this shines, and that is in the actual app, which unlocks all of the capabilities of this unit as a baseboard heater married with a Bitcoin miner. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we're over in the Avalon app now, and what you're looking at is my device, which is the Mini 3, and it right here is going to show me the rooms that I have it in, which I put it in my living room, and then it shows me the hash rate, which right now it's doing 40.17 terahash, and it's showing me that it's in mining mode. But when I tap on that, this is where we get to make some adjustments to it. So mining mode is going to give you the most amount of hash rate at the most amount of power. And we'll look at some of those results in just a little bit and do some comparisons through these different modes as well. So a couple things you can do here is you can have the display scroll, which is going to show you time, the IP address, and then the hash rate. You can have it just show the time, or you can do custom, and custom is going to allow you to upload a picture. I tried a Red Fox. I think it looks okay. Of course, it's got to map each individual pixel, but you can get clever and do some designs, and it will show that over on the LED display. So that's what you can do as far as what you want the display to be, as well as controlling the brightness manually if you choose to. So let's go back from there. Settings here, pool configurations. You can see the filter is telling me that it's 14% blocked right now. So I will need to clean that at some point. Warranty, all that kind of information is here. There also is a web GUI I'll show you when we get through this, but this is where you can do the most amount of control over your unit. So we're gonna go back from there. Timer, if you wanna set a time for it to turn on and off, maybe you need it to heat at night, but not during the day, you can do all of that right here. Okay, the next modes I want us to take a look at are heater modes. So that's just miner, right? That's just, it's mining, it's giving you all the hash rate it can for all the power that it can. But then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into heating modes, and there's two. And the first one we're gonna start with is super. So right now it's on heating mode super. Now what heating mode does is it allows you to control the temperature when the unit turns off. So you can see right here, currently it's set to high, so it's just gonna run forever. But I can adjust this because it has a built-in thermostat, and I can tell it for when it gets to a certain temperature that it stops heating and mining, and it won't resume heating and mining until it dips below that temperature, and it will kick on in order to achieve that temperature again. So when it's in super mode, it's giving you the same amount of hash rate and power as if you were in mining mode. So it's just full on, giving you everything it got, which will be about 800 watts for 40 terahash. Now, there's also a second heating mode, which is eco. So eco is going to use a little bit less wattage, less hash rate, and give you a less heat out as well. And we're going to look at those numbers. I've tested all of them for over a day or so in just a little bit, but gives you the same options here for you to control what you want the target temperatures to be, and it will again shut off and then turn on again to keep that temperature just like a thermostat. It has a thermostat in it. It's a baseboard heater. That's what it's going to do. Okay. Last one, which I really like, is night mode. So night mode is completely different. It runs at a set performance. So it's going to have a set hash rate and set wattage that it uses that is different than both every other mode, both mining and eco heat. And I'll show you that in just a little bit, but does still include the ability to set target temperatures, and has an additional feature of a little nightlight that will turn on. I guess it only stays on for like 3 minutes, but it just illuminates the LED screen if you need it in that moment, and you're gonna walk into your kitchen or your living room or your back room, need a little bit of light, well, it has that feature there. Just like one of those things, it's just like, you don't need it, you might never use it, but like what a cool little feature set that they decided to build in because they had the capability to. So I absolutely love that. So that's everything in here and how well thought out this is from both a baseboard heater and cryptocurrency miner perspective. So from there, there is also a web GUI. So we'll take a look at that. So just like any ASIC miner or home miner, you're just going to find the IP address on your local network and throw that in, and you'll be greeted with this. So there's really no control here. It's more just of a read-only observation on how the machine is doing beyond the pool. You can configure your pool if you need to. But otherwise, just performance. It shows you the power, the mode that it's currently on, the pool it's mining to, and that's pretty much all you're going to get here. Now, as far as power usage that is reported in both the web interface and the app, I mean, it's pretty dead on accurate. It's saying 441 watts in the web interface. Now I'm reporting 438 watts right now. So let's take a look at all those different modes, and we'll get more into like the cryptocurrency Bitcoin miner aspect of this. So I have them here on a spreadsheet, and the 4 modes, which 2 are pretty much identical, we'll start there. So you got mining. That's number right here, Canaan Avalon Mini 3 mining mode. So that's the one giving you the most power, the most hash rate. This unit over several days averaged out to 40.91 terahash, which is much better than the advertised 37.5 terahash, but also using a little bit more power to do that. And that's what will happen, right? There's ASIC chips inside here. There's computer chips. Some are going to perform better than others. And so this unit it performs better, but takes a little bit more power to do that. Now we're going to jump down to that heating super mode, which in my testing, that is the same exact thing as mining mode, just with the capability of tapping into the thermostat for it to turn on and off when it reaches the target temperature. But as far as the performance, they are pretty much identical, arguably identical. Now the next one that we'll go to is night mode. Night mode might as well just be efficiency mode. You lose about half the hash rate and half the power, but in doing that, you get way more efficient. So this will provide 428 watts and give you a hash rate of 24.52. But what you can see here in the efficiency column, it is the most efficient. So it's giving you the most Bitcoin for the least amount of power than any of these other modes. And also giving you the least amount of heat, because we got to consider it's baseboard heater too. And then there's eco mode, heating mode eco, and that's interesting. That is like an in-between night and mining mode. So here it's going to pull a little bit more power, 552 watts, but again, give you a little bit more hash rate, 29.88 terahash, and then it's more efficient than both mining and heating mode, which are identical, but not as efficient as night mode. And like what's happening here is they're just changing the frequency that the ASIC chips on the inside are operating at. The higher frequency, there's going to need more power to operate at that frequency. You pull down the frequency, you need less power, and you eventually find a really nice efficiency in there, which is what it looks like night mode is. I wish I had some more manual adjustments that I can make, and that is just the cryptocurrency miner at heart in me coming out saying, I wish I could adjust the frequencies manually like you would with like a GPU, or even some ASICs allow you to do that, but that's okay. I know that this is meant to be something that you can just pick up, plug in, pick a mode, and just get going. So what we'll do now is I think take a look at profitability, but we're going to look at this a little bit differently than we probably would from a mining perspective. So I'm going to go over to what to mine. And what I have in here is the mining mode or the heating super mode. Okay, and I have this at a 16 cents kilowatt hour electric rate. And here's how we're going to look at this a little bit differently. So to heat a room with 800 watts for a day will cost $3.11. If you bought this machine, it will cost that. And if you went and bought an 800 watt baseboard heater from your local big box store, it would also cost that because they're generating the same amount of wattage, generating the same amount of heat. So either way, they're going to cost you, both units, $3.11. But this, since it's mining Bitcoin as well, is going to allow you to recoup over $2 of that money back. And so then the delta is you will have spent a little over $1 to heat a room for a day versus over $3. See what I'm doing here? See how this is a little bit different? Let's go to the month and do that again. For the month, it would cost you $93.20 to heat a room for a month, 800 watts, if it was just on 24/7. It would cost you $93.20 for an 800 watt baseboard heater. With this, since it mines Bitcoin, you're going to recoup 2/3 of that back. And it will only cost you $32 when all said and done to have heated that room 24/7 with 800 watts if you use this Avalon Mini 3. Very different way to look at this. And that is if you just sell the Bitcoin immediately and recoup your expense as much as possible immediately. You know, of course, you could just hold on to that Bitcoin, wait for it to rise in the future like it just seemingly always does, not financial advice, and then perhaps even make more money or cover all of the heating cost. Very interesting. Let's go over to the other mode, the more efficient one, and that's night mode. So a reminder, that's 24.52 terahash per second, 428 watts, and we're going to do the 16 cent kilowatt hour. Now here, we're going to get 428 watts of, and we're going to get that heat to heat a room. Maybe it's a little bit smaller room, or maybe we don't need that much 800 watts to generate. Now in this case, it's going to cost me $1.64 to heat that space for 24 hours. And I'm going to be able to recoup over $1 of that and really only spend at the end of the day 43 cents to heat that room for 24 hours. And then jumping over to the month, it's going to cost me $49.31, 24/7 to get 428 watts out into a space. It's going to cost me $49.31, but I'm going to be able to recoup quite a bit of that. And all said and done will only have now cost me, because I'm generating Bitcoin, $12.78 to heat that room. 428 watts, 24 hours a day for 1 month. So again, you can see how you can look at this very differently when you consider it an appliance first that also makes Bitcoin. And I just think that is absolutely wonderful. And when you look at it that way, you can see why earlier in this video I said, if you need a baseboard heater, just buy this one. Like, there's no reason to buy one that doesn't mine cryptocurrency. Why would you ever do that? Just buy the one that can recoup some of the money that it is actually taking from the wall when it uses the power. Like, just buy this. But if you're looking to get a Bitcoin miner, like, this isn't going to be profitable. But it's when you can use that heat that it becomes just something so incredibly special and such a well thought out device as you consider the entire feature set that it has. And so I've been using this. I've been mining over to via BTC for a little bit, about a week now, just on all the different modes. You can see there's the Avalon Mini 3. Also on there is my Lucky Miner version 8. I'll leave a link to that video up in the card above if you want to check that out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just in that time with those two miners, here's my account balance, $15.80 in Bitcoin. I can withdraw that, send it right to Coinbase, cash it out for USD to recoup some of the cost that this has used to heat right now my basement. Where this is going to go, it's going to go right up in that back room. I'm going to throw some B-roll up here. It's probably been throughout this video of where this will be up until I just don't need the heat anymore, which is probably still for quite a few months as we get out of the, into the spring and then eventually into the summer. But it'll be on again in the fall and then probably all winter because, ultimately, why not? So that brings me to just my thoughts on this completely. It's amazing. It is just simply amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I got it sent to me, but I love hardware. I love innovations. I love when I can see, a company, some engineering, just really think hard about a product and create just a wonderful product. And I think this has carved out a really cool space for itself. And I just hope it's just a taste of what's to come as we think very differently about Bitcoin mining and decentralization and the things that we have that are just using power all of the time in our homes. And hopefully this is just the start. So a ton of respect for Canaan for making this, taking, I'm sure, a risk, a lot of R&D and thought and design into all of this. But thank you for doing it. Thanks for making this wonderful device that provides heat and also mines Bitcoin.